Listen up, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest new European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the table. Sign up at BetUS.com today to get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Wednesday, June 21st, and we are back here with another episode of the Darion Hopkins Sports Show. As y'all can say, I am your host, Darion, of the Darion Hopkins Sports Show, and we are here with my boy, Bug. Good afternoon, my brother. Good afternoon.
Good.
Why you look like you just waking up? You was just in the chat all morning, man.
Nah, I've been up since like 5, man. It's been so much going on today. It's kind of hard for me to. Is
it a lot going on in the sports world or like?
No, yeah, it's sports. No, not like that. Yeah.
I'll listen. I was just been
trying
sure.
to get locked in, especially with the draft coming up, and then it's like a lot of stuff switching around now. I just been trying to be. I try to be on it. I try to have all the stuff I need. You know. So.
I can dig it. I can dig it. You know, I finally just edited the second half of the James Harden segment from the other show. Because what happened was, just before we get into anything, what happened is that in the back stream of StreamYard, like, you have a storage.
Yeah.
And I, like, for me to clear that storage, I had to delete the audio, delete the recording part of it.
Okay.
I deleted the show by accident, so I had to wait for you to officially upload it and then find a downloader to download the whole show just to get the segment. Because it wouldn't let me clip it through YouTube. It only goes for 60 seconds, and we went longer than 60 seconds, so we wasn't able to do it. But shout out to everybody that is watching. That we are live on Facebook, Twitter, and my personal page, Sonny Hopkins. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well at DhopkinsShow. Make sure you go to SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code DHopkins. Get $20 off your first purchase. If you want to go to any live events like NBA, basketball, football, college football, anything, live events, concerts, comedy shows, if anything that's on SeatGeek, you can use that promo code and use DHopkins for that as well. And we will have the audio podcast out there as well on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. So make sure you check out all the episodes there, all at the Darion Hopkins Show. We have a lot to go over. A lot has went down in the last 24 hours since we've been on the show.
Man. There's a lot going on today.
A lot going on. I don't even know where to start, honestly, but I'm gonna go with it though. And it was something that was brought to my attention, watching the Get Up, and I thought it was a good question. And how much success with this big three with the Phoenix Suns, right?
Yeah.
What is the success that has to be? Is it conference finals or bust? They have to win the championship this year. How much success do they need to have with this big three, even though of a combined of $162 million between three players? Is it win now, or is it okay? We worked together this one time, like LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. You know how they first year they got to the final, but they didn't win it. But that second year, you see them gel a little bit more better. Is it something like that needs to happen?
So personally, from when I give like my general outlook on it first, like if I just heard about the trade, I just feel in general that's a ringer bust type thing, because you don't go get Bradley Beal, you know what I'm saying, all the stuff y'all basically strong arm Rob the Wizards for him, you know what I'm saying? So basically, like, you got to make it happen. I feel like, especially, you just had Chris Paul. I mean, I get Devin Booker was hurt, but he came back. He made it happen. I just had Chris Paul. I just had KD. I really had a really, really complete, deep team, and still didn't do all you're supposed to do last year. So I feel like it's definitely a ringer bust situation. I don't feel like they know, to me, they're kind of still missing a facilitator. Like Bradley Beal is good, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like he's still a 20-point scorer. He's still 20 points a night. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
KD is still 25 points a night. Devin Booker is still 20 plus points a night. So it's like,
right.
They're definitely ring a bust, but I don't know if it's going to work the first year. Then I think that's when it's going to become the whole Heat thing. Like, okay, well, maybe we got them together this year. They just had their first year together. They lost, but at least conference finals. I feel like there's no reason they shouldn't be.
Now, I've been saying for years, the only success if they could get back to the Western Conference Finals or get to the finals, you have to build around these three. Yeah. And that would be the hard thing there. Now, you lost the shooter in Landry Shamet. You traded him to the Washington Wizards. And yeah, you got Cameron Payne there. You still have the guy Lansdale that played really well in the playoffs as a backup. We don't know, as far as I've heard, that it's going to be a DeAndre Ayton that's going to stay in Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm hearing the same thing.
But we got to see. But we got to see what we're going to see with DeAndre Ayton first. Like, are we going to get the guy that was drafted in the first round as a top 5 pick? Yeah. Or are we just going to get the scrub that got bullied all postseason? So it really is going to start out with me when it comes to the success. And it's only one basketball, too.
Yeah.
It's only one basketball. So who's going to be the first option? Who's going to be the second option? Who's going to be considered a third option? Because Devin Booker is not going to consider himself a third option. To me, I don't care if KD or Bradley Beal is there. This is Devin Booker's franchise, and this is his team.
Yeah.
You put him as the number one option. Because if you don't, and you try to put Kevin Durant and Beal as your first option, how much disrespect that Devin Booker will have. Much of that. But for me, I have to say, it's Western Conference or bust as of this year.
Okay.
And let's see what happens next year with the salary cap, the collective bargaining agreement, see what type of money they have, see what they can build, and they can go back to the finals. Because I still think these three need to go out and gel. If I'm going Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal right now, I'm in the gym together. Or and get I don't know who will be that 4 or who will be that 5. I know the 5 is going to be Ayton. So it will be Durant, Booker, Beal, Ayton. Who will be that 5th player is the question. That would be the question. Who would be that 5th player? I don't know what bug just went. I don't know what just happened, but that's just how I feel about it. That's just how I feel about it. You're not going to keep going in and out on me, brother.
I'm trying to turn the brightness up on my phone and accidentally scroll back.
Oh, no, you good, you good. I know how that could be.
Yeah.
That's what StreamYard need. StreamYard, I'm telling you right now, let us be an advocate. You need an app. That's what you need.
Yeah.
You need an app. So, but like I was saying, like, I don't know who that 4th person would be. Because, I mean, you already got Bill, Booker, and Durant. Then you have Ayton. Who would be that 4th player?
I mean, but then, like I say, you still got a lot of free agents. That's possible. You get what I'm saying? That could be an okay fit for that 4th position. Like a John Collins. I mean, well, maybe John Collins might want the bag though. He might want the bag.
He might want the bag, but you're still gonna have to trade for him. He's not. I mean, he's still under contract as of right now.
Who else do you have out?
So you have to. So who else can the Phoenix Suns trade for? That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, sheesh, I don't know. I mean, a Kuz maybe. I got Kuz.
The question is,
looking like he might go to the Rockets because of. I think what the Wizards might be trying to do with some trades is hearing that they trying to, they might be trying to scoot up.
So we know Kuzma declined this option, and we was going to get in. It goes right into that as well. Like, so, according to Kyle Kuzma, according to ESPN, he did I forgot how much it was, but he did decline his contract. He did decline that option. And now Kyle Kuzma, former, Laker, had a great, good. To me, I thought they should never got rid of Kuzma. In my opinion, for the Lakers, I thought he was a good asset off the bench. That's just my personal opinion. But he ended up going to the Wizards, making a name for himself, and he's going to hit the free agency. So where would be the best landing spots right now for Kyle Kuzma? Because now he's no longer with the Wizards. He wanted out, and I can see why he wanted out. I mean, Hachimura got traded to the Lakers. All the Bradley Beal is no longer there. I mean, I don't think Kyle Kuzma is one of those guys that you could put in the face of a franchise. But where will be some landing spots for him, though? Where will be some landing spots for Kyle Kuzma?
So from what I've seen, I like the Rockets because they're kind of not getting the production they wanted to out of Martin Jr. Not yet, at least. So they really need something right there. So say like how Charlotte now was saying they might go grab Brandon Miller. You get what I'm saying? So if they could get something like Cruz, if they could get a Cruz, they could give them some space to make some things happen. They don't have a bad squad already. Şengün, Tyree, Jalen Green. They got Porter Jr. They got a couple guys. So I feel like Houston is a good fit. That's the best one I heard that I seen that just stuck with me. I said Houston is not bad at all. I like Houston. I feel like Houston is not bad.
So he declined a $13 million player option that'll make him a free agent. He expected to be one of the most prominent players to hit free agency this summer after averaging 21.5 and 7 boards a game. So he's going to be looking for a bag with those numbers. But he did tell reporters in April that he'll consider returning to Washington with his home since 2021-22 season after spending 4 seasons and winning the title with the Lakers. I mean, he did decline the option, but it really depends on what Washington want to give him in a re-sign type of situation.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. What if he went to the Clippers? Think
about moving George. That would
exactly. We were going to get into.
Matter of fact, you just kind of might have hit something on the head because that could be a 3-team trade between the Clippers, the Wizards, and who would they have to throw in there? Probably Houston.
Yeah, but if you got to see it. Kyle Kuzma, he's a free agent now. So he don't even have to be in the trade. So what you could do, you can still trade Paul George. You can still trade Paul George, and you can still go out in free agency and get the Kyle Kuzma to replace the Paul George.
Yeah, because he's going to start on that team.
Because he's going to start on that team. You can put him with Westbrook. I don't know the situation with Kawhi Leonard, but you definitely have a 20-point score in Kyle Kuzma that's more healthy than Paul George at this moment, in my opinion. So I think the Clippers might be a smart move if they have the salary cap. So, I mean, I think Russell Westbrook, he on his final year of his contract, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I'm hearing a lot about George going to Portland. To Portland, supposedly, if Dame is going to stay, trying to get Paul George over there because Dame is basically saying if he doesn't get any veteran help, he's not staying. Like point blank period. How they try to cut it, of how they get in the draft. If they don't get him any veteran help, he's not doing it. So they're saying Paul George might be a key piece, or at least starting, to maybe look like they can get him some veteran help. That wouldn't be a bad look. They would still need something else, but that wouldn't be a bad start.
Now, for me, I'll say this for Kyle Kuzma. I think for me, the best place for him is the Clippers. I just like the Clippers' chances more because if you look at that small forward position, Kyle Kuzma can play that small forward, play a little bit of power forward in some instances, but he plays more of the small forward / he's not really a good dribbler or anything of that nature, but you have a consistent 21 points a night.
Yeah, but it's
with Kuzma.
When you go there, but then it's like if Kawhi doesn't play, you're basically by yourself again. Like you got Westbrook, you got a trade man,
and I think Westbrook fits well. I don't think you need to move on from Westbrook. I think he could give you those double-digit numbers per night because I feel like with Westbrook's situation, he feels more comfortable in Ty Lue's letting him play the capability that we used to Westbrook are playing. He's letting him make the decisions on the floor as the floor general or make hit and create his shots. I mean, even though he doesn't shoot the ball very effectively, but if you got to look at the defensive side too, very aggressive defensively. So now you bring in a Kyle Kuzma that can replace the Paul George, because Paul George has not been available to them. So you have a Westbrook, and you have Kuzma, and you have Kawhi. Now the question is, the torn meniscus is a little bit different than tearing an ACL. It's different. Yeah. A meniscus is a little smaller, but Kawhi is Mr. Load Management himself. We just don't know what we're going to get out of Kawhi Leonard at this moment, but that's when you build in the draft as well. And you can still get some other free agents if it really depends on how much Kyle Kuzma wants and how much salary cap that the Clippers have. But that's the first thing that came to mind when I saw the decline option. I said the Clippers would be the right fit with Ty Lue and Russell Westbrook there. I really think so.
Got some breaking news too. Penny Hardaway suspended for 3 games due to recruiting violations.
Oh my God.
Penny,
Here we go. But it's too much news out there as of today. Just imagine if we would have did this show later on in the day, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been too much. It would have been I can't keep up, man. I can't keep up. But what other outside of Clippers or outside of him going back to the Wizards, or like even you said a couple of teams. I mean, throw a Kyle Kuzma in Portland. You know what I'm saying? Throw a Kyle Kuzma in Portland instead of a Paul George. I wouldn't want Paul George. If I'm Damian Lillard, I wouldn't want Paul George to go there because he's not going to be available to help Damian Lillard. Yeah. So you could add a Kyle Kuzma to Portland. Still got Jeremy Grant there. You still got Nurkic there. Not bad at all. I'll take that lineup right now.
That will save them some money because Kyle's going to ask for a bag, but I'm pretty sure not what Paul George will want, and then that way they can still go. They might be able to still grab them something else. That's a hell of a supporting cast. So you got Nurkic, you got Jeremy Grant, Kuzma. Like you said, Kuzma give you
you keep Anthony Simmons and Lillard.
Yeah, So then you can at least got 2 other guys on the court now that can score 20 points.
Right.
On a night. So that would look good.
And then you look at the draft and you see what they might get in the draft on top of that. You just never know. You might get a gem in the draft.
Yeah.
You might get a gem in the draft. So Kyle Kuzma declined his option, $13 million. So Kyle Kuzma could be it's just what Nasir just said. We just literally just talked about it. And he said that Portland with the addition of Kuzma can exactly be what Dame wants, need shooting and help spacing to help the defense liability too. Facts. Absolutely, man. Mac will be coming in here a little bit later. Just to let you know, Mac will be up in the building for this for this show. I know he's working right now, but Kyle Kuzma has declined the option with the Washington Wizards. It was $13 million, and he said he would not mind coming back to the Wizards depending on what the contracts would look like and re-signing with them. Speaking of Paul George. Speaking of Paul George, right? And the Clippers are looking to trade Paul George. And what is his value right now for Paul George? And me personally, I'm going to say this on record that I don't think there's no value there.
Really?
I don't think there's no value there because the man has not played more than 60 games in the last 2 seasons. And Nasir just hit it on the money. He's a podcaster now, more than he's a player to me. It's a fact. It's a known fact.
He's still give you something out there.
But he put more of his energy into podcasting than he does.
Come on,
him actually playing.
This is a 6'6", 235-pound guy.
I get the talent. But the best ability is availability. If I'm a GM, am I really taking a risk on a guy that stays injured?
But I have a question though. Have we not seen more from a Paul George than we have of a Zion? And people still willing to take a risk on him?
People are willing. You know why they're willing to still take a risk on Zion? Because of his age. He's still young.
But that's what
Paul
I'm
George
saying.
is getting up there in age.
But at least Paul George has had where he has showed. You get what I'm saying? Zion hasn't even had come on, bro. You average 20-something games a season.
I get it. But this was supposed to be a championship caliber team with Kawhi and Paul George, and both of them has not played with each other more than 100 games and less than 100 games.
Yeah, I don't even think.
So the expectation for George and Kawhi to be the it guys in Mac is here, and I'm gonna put myself in the middle of this. What's going on, Mac? We were just talking about Paul George and his value, his trade value, and I feel like, to me, in my personal opinion, that he doesn't have trade value. And I say why? Because the best, like we all kept saying on this show all the time, the best ability is availability. And Boog just said that, should we keep the same energy for Zion? Now, we could keep that same energy, but Zion is on the younger side of things, knowing that Paul George is on the older side of things, and he had a higher expectation going to the Clippers with Kawhi, and that didn't exceed the expectations. So I would love to hear your thoughts on what value that, Paul George has right now, since these rumors had came out about him being traded.
So I'm going to say this, right? A healthy Paul George, right, is in my opinion, worth it to kick the tires on. If you can get him healthy and keep him healthy. Now, Zion, on the other hand, yes, Zion has age and all that. Like, there's still time for Zion. But George, no. He needs to go to a contending team. He needs a team that's also going to help him physically stay healthy.
Okay. And he says Zion has use on his side. I forgot Kawhi Leonard was even there. He's been injured too. That's true. He better take the minimum on a good team. Facts. And Paul George would never be 100% again. I have to agree. Like, I don't think.
But can you? I had jotted down my notes about it earlier. Can you really blame George and Leonard? They both been interested in playing together, and either way, they haven't went to past the Western Conference Finals not one time. It's like you can't really kind of just. So I feel like even when George is hurt, even when George is healthy, Kawhi's hurt. So it's like you really never got to even see the.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think as of right now, if you look at the last couple of years in LA with the come to the Clippers, they have not played together. The continuity has not been there because both of them has been injured. Either way. So even though the Clippers had this dream of try to outbig the big brother Lakers as they try to do, they both can't stay healthy. And should I take, as a GM, can I take a risk of Paul George being healthy for at least 60 of the 82 games? I can't take that risk.
Hold on. It depends who you're talking about here. Depends who you're talking about. If you're talking about a team like Miami that wants to try to might make a run at him, or you talking about a team like Chicago or a team like Detroit. Detroit can make a lot of sense.
Miami will be huge.
Miami will be huge, but will we see him in the playoffs? That is my question. Yeah. We call him playoff P for what?
Okay, listen. Again, it comes down to putting him with the right team. When you only need 20 to 30 at most minutes from him on a regular basis, you're going to see a lot healthier George. But the problem is you have teams that are still treating him like he's fucking 25 years old.
Like he's just playing for the Pacers.
And bust some 30-some minutes. So that's why he keeps getting injured. Like,
and at the same time, if you reduce his minutes, because in my opinion, I feel like Paul George still considers himself an all-star and one of these best guys in the league. That's what I'm just thinking when it comes to Paul George.
I heard He does.
But now, if you try to reduce his minutes, here comes the drama. Because most all-stars are divas. Most all-stars are divas.
But he has to take that, though, when he knows you want to win a championship at this point. When you haven't passed your conference finals since you joined this team, bro.
It's called humbling. It's called humbling.
But
can
he
he be humble for that? That's the question. Because most NBA All-Stars can't really humble themselves these days. They just can't.
Out of all the guys that are
Yeah,
in
I think
predicaments
Paul.
like
Yeah,
that,
Paul George.
he
Yeah,
is 100% one of the most mature of them. He's a very mature guy. He's not. He's never seemed like one of those. Oh, it's me. I'll never care about it. Nah, bro. I promise you, if a contending team makes an offer to him and say, "Hey, look, man, we want you to be our fourth option. We want you to be our starter."
Do you really think Paul George is going to take a fourth option? Do you really think so? I don't think he will.
Yes,
I don't think he'll take a fourth. He would be he would probably prefer to be a second or a third option, but a fourth option on a team. I don't think. Nah.
Listen.
I don't see that.
I'm stretching with the fourth option.
Yeah, you reaching with that.
How many teams honestly got four guys better than him?
I'm just saying. You say a fourth option.
Exactly.
That made me think like
I'm trying to lay it back a little bit. I'm trying to lay it back. I ain't trying to push it. I'm trying to lay it back. But that's my whole point. My whole point is he can go and get traded to a contending team, and he can play his role. Now that's true. Most NBA players are divas. But again, like I said, if you're talking, I really feel like George, if you put him in the right position, I think he'll play team ball. I think he'll play team ball to win a ring. I think he would.
So okay. So give me 5 teams right now that's contending that he could be on right now. 5 teams.
Miami. You could throw him on Miami. I mean, hey, I want to throw this out there. What about Philly?
Yeah, Philly was the last one I was going to say. I wanted to say Philly first, but again, like he's one of those guys. If you put him there with Maxey and Embiid, and if definitely if Harden is there, that's going to be tricky.
I'm not having this conversation. But I'm staying out of it.
But without Harden, if you're just talking about them threes, the mainstays, talking about George, Maxey, and Embiid, then all they need is an actual point guard to facilitate, and everybody can eat.
Now,
I like the Kings too, though. I like the Kings.
The Sacramento Kings, that's the big underdog.
And it's crazy because you hit that right on the head. They're moving away from Harrison. They don't really have a bona fide 3. Like they don't. All they have is really Harrison Barnes.
And Barnes is gone. You know what I'm saying? Barnes is gone.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes is out of here. He's out.
I could definitely see them going after George and putting George in Sacramento. That would work. Sweet. That would work. That would work.
I got one for y'all. And y'all might think I'm crazy on this one. What about Milwaukee? Chris Middleton's about to be out the door. Why not go to Milwaukee? You got Drew Holiday, you got Giannis, and you got Paul George. That's your core right there. I mean, you can still make Paul George a second option to Giannis. We already know what Drew could do defensively on the defensive side of the ball. If you sign Lopez back, I like Milwaukee as an underrated team that Paul George could probably be traded to. It's a possibility.
If they sign Lopez back, and will they have enough money?
Well, it really depends if Chris Middleton gets out of his option. He still haven't decided about his option yet. But I think it will be an upgrade. If you get a healthy Paul George, it still will be an upgrade to a healthy Chris Middleton, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'd say so.
Or I could just say it's a dark horse. I could throw it in as a dark horse.
I'm gonna give Chris Middleton his due. That motherfucker, he's bad. You can't really tell what he's looking at, but he's a bad motherfucker. He's a bad motherfucker. not know what he's looking at. Yo, I can't. When Mac get on here, he be having some crazy takes, bro. He be having some crazy takes, but the first time I seen him in person at a Wizards game, I was literally sitting like 6 rows behind the hoop, and he came up to shoot a free throw, and I'm like, miss, and the motherfucker looked right at me. He looked right at me, and I was like, holy shit, only one eye's looking at me, the other eye's looking that way. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
All right, I'm gonna go through the other 2 questions that I had before we get back on going to the next topic. The first question of the day was, how much success will the Suns have with the big 3 that they have? Me personally, I said Western Conference or bust for the first year, and the next year they got to take that next leap to the NBA Finals if they could go out and get some players in the draft or get some low budget free agencies because it's 162 million between the three. Bug says, I think you said, if I'm not mistaken, you said NBA Finals or bust for them. But I feel like this sounds like the Miami Heat team a little bit. I feel like the first year they're going to get to the Western Conference Finals and then they'll lose and then they'll get over that hump. But we all know that first year with LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh, they lost in the finals to Dallas Mavericks. We all know how that went. So I think it's going to take some time, but we really got to see what Ayton's going to bring because the news already came out saying that Ayton's not going anywhere. And who's going to be that number 4 for them?
Listen to me. I'm just going to let you know, the Wizards fan pages are blowing up. They really think that we're going to trade Porzingis for Ayton. It's been on fire all morning. I thought that was the dumbest take. And these guys are like, well, I mean, it makes sense because he's younger and he's better. I'm like, who's better? I'd rather keep Porzingis. Porzingis is better for our team than Ayton's going to be. Like, it doesn't even make sense. But I'm going to say this, right? With what they just did, and if they do keep Ayton, if they don't make it to the finals, it's kind of a bust. Like, you just spent all this money.
Yeah.
Now you have 3 guys. You have not 1, not 2, but 3 guys on max contracts. Plus, you got another center, soft-ass center, that's making over $30 million. Like, come on, man. The pay is outrageous. If you don't win, then what did you just give all this money out for?
Right.
You paid for a bust season? Nah. They have to go all the way. They have to go all the way. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
So the people in the chat, we have Nasir saying, question for y'all looking back now. Do y'all think the 76ers should have kept Jimmy Butler over Tobias Harris? Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. But I understand why they picked Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler did not want to be with Brett Brown at that time. That's why I understand the move that Jimmy Butler did not want to come back to Philadelphia because of the coaching at that time. Brett Brown was just terrible. He was just a terrible coach, and he didn't like the coaching style.
And I think you still have to consider that Tobias is not a bad player. He didn't even play his role. Like, he didn't kind of even do his role to the best of his ability. So that's what made it look even worse. Like, damn, like they all the way missed out. Like, bro, we paid you this money to at least do your job.
Right.
And you're not even doing that. So it's like,
agreed.
So I think that's what made that look a lot worse. Like, they really, really lost out on that.
Bring your phone down, son. You look like a midget, Mac. Did he look like a midget just now?
He had it right at the neck.
from the neck up.
First time anybody's ever called me a damn midget.
Listen, just the way you were just sitting, bro. I look taller than you, and I'm a midget for real. I'm only 5'4". Hey, let me know I'm short. So, Chaos Raider said that the Celtics can be one team to go after Paul George. What y'all think about that? I mean, Mac, I know you're a Celtics fan too, so.
Yeah. That's crazy. Well, go ahead, Matt. I'll let you.
Yeah, I mean, so again, you know that Boston's going to try to restock, like they do. Yeah. They've had a consistent over the last 10 years. Every time they lose pieces, they go and they restock, and it happens over and over and over again. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm gonna be honest with you, that fit is just like having Jaylen Brown and Tatum together. They both play the same freaking position. Putting Paul George there, he plays the same position as Tatum. Like you either need to bring true talented guys that play a true position, or I mean, like you're gonna keep it. They're gonna keep not making it to the finals. And even if they make it to the finals, with what they're doing and how they're being coached, it's not doing much.
So Nasir says the Kings are poised in a brighter future. They're very young, absolutely.
I love the Kings, man. Keegan Murray, Fox, even Holmes, the guy with the goggles. Like I love that whole squad. They got to tell you, I just feel like Sabonis let them down big last year. Sabonis let them down.
I think Sabonis I feel like Sabonis wasn't healthy, and I think if you get a 100% Sabonis, you get a difference from him. RC, what's going on, man? What's going on,
man?
Arku says Tobias is getting paid. The
Celtics
max
talk.
was
Hold on, just
ridiculous.
saying, y'all. Celtics and Suns are talking trading for Ayton right now. Celtics and Suns talking trading for Ayton. That's big.
RC says, I don't think Nick Nurse should have went to Philly. It made me sick to see a good coach go there. It's the last gaps for Philly, if you ask me. I really, this is my, I'm gonna make a quick take on this. And Bud, you listen. I'm not gonna argue about this all day long, but Nick Nurse ain't taking James Harden's bullshit.
But
he's not.
But this is the crazy part about it now, and so I don't want y'all to feel like I'm just so James Harden crazy. I just ignore the obvious. We know James Harden likes to party. We know he got fat as hell. Those are two things that but that's why they would talk when these next teams or depending on these next moves. From what I'm hearing, they're saying he's trying to put himself in a situation and just throwing this out there. Theoretic, they were talking about him going to a Heat. You know what I'm saying? And with Jimmy Butler and getting into that type of groove where you really gonna have to be locked in. You really gonna have to work. It's just not gonna just be a party atmosphere. You get to do what you want to do. You kind of have to fall into a culture.
Nazar Raheem, I agree with you.
So I just feel like he just needs to fall into a type of culture, and Nick Nurse might do that for him. Nick Nurse might bring something different that he might need. James Harden got to play for a lot of coaches, unfortunately, where he just kind of got to do what he wanted. Dan Tony, then you get to Brooklyn, then you get Doc. So it's he kind of just always kind of got to do what he wanted to do. So I might like it to see what Nick. I might like it. I want to see him play for a coach like that. I want to see him play for a coach who's going to get on his ass, sit him on the bench. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him play for a coach like that. Believe it or not, it's my favorite player. So
okay. I want to make sure. Listen,
yeah.
I don't want to argue today. I already edited the segment from the other day. I already edited the segment from the other day. I'm just saying.
Listen, here's my hot take. Right, if he don't gel with Nick Nurse and Nick Nurse does what he does, I guarantee by the trade deadline, Harden's gone.
Oh shit, boss. Yeah, man.
If there's any type of friction between them two, Harden will be gone by.
I think Harden. I don't want to be like that to Harden, but I feel like if this doesn't work and he doesn't go and he don't abide by what Nick Nurse wants, Harden's going to be gone before Nick Nurse is gone. I'm just gonna be completely honest. So
this time,
unfortunately, it's like that. But hey, Nick Nurse is just a stern coach. He's a stern coach, and he loves defense. So Harden, you should be getting in the gym right now, whatever fat belly you got, and getting ready to play some defense. Because Nick Nurse is a defensive type of coach. He just is. He won his championship off defense in Toronto. I'm saying. Memphis is trying to potentially trade Tyrus Young. What's on their brain? They need to keep him until Ja comes back from suspension. I like Tyrus Jones. I think he's he's a very underrated guard. He's not a superstar, but if you look at the record that Memphis has without John Morant and Tyrus Jones in the start lineup, they have a good winning record with him there. So,
and you got to think, like I was just saying yesterday, the guy they think about getting in the draft, 6'4" guy from I think Santa Clara or whatever. I don't want to mess his last name up, but I know he's 6'4" guy. They say he played like Dante. So they can look to move away from him. He's been there for a little minute, but I get it. He's one of them guys, but this draft is it's gonna change a lot. This draft is gonna change a lot of what guys gonna be moving and leaving. I feel like
absolutely. The dude Hart is really ran to Vegas mid playoffs just to say Rodman did it. You know what? I can't with you. What's going on, Braves fan? What's going on? RC Talk said Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know why they're standing pat. They need some moves. Fred VanVleet, Lonnie Walker, somebody. I was just talking about because the Paul George situation. I'm like, why not Paul George when he's healthy? I'm not saying when he's injured, when he's healthy.
But what y'all think about Falcons Cowboys? Hey, I got the Falcons as my dark horse. We're gonna get into that later.
We're gonna get into some NFL, but we got some more NBA talk that we have to talk about here. And not even really NBA talk. It's just a question for NBA and NFL in itself. Who needs to win another title more? Aaron Rodgers or Kevin Durant? I'm gonna wait for y'all two to say this because I would love to hear y'all takes on it. And
I just want to get out Aaron Rodgers. I want to get out Aaron Rodgers. I want to get out Aaron Rodgers early. I feel like I want to say Aaron Rodgers. I want to say Aaron Rodgers.
You said, hold on. You say that again?
It says, who needs to win another title more? Kevin Durant or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers. Oh, without a fucking question. Bro, it's been over a decade since he's been at the Super Bowl. Like,
agreed.
How many Super Bowls has he been to? One. Like, does
it sound like Brett Favre's career a little bit too, though?
Time. Blah, 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 blah. But the whole thing is, when it comes down to winning the games that are important, it's always something else. The defense didn't show up. The wide receivers dropped balls. It's everybody's fault but Aaron Rodgers. Because he only threw 3 interceptions all season. Man, I don't care. On some real stuff, I don't care if you throw 15 touchdowns and fucking 15 interceptions in the regular season. But if you go to the playoffs, you win in the playoffs, and you're consistent in the playoffs. Like Eli Manning. Eli Manning is probably one of my favorite quarterbacks because he was an average Joe motherfucking quarterback when it came to the regular season. But if he got to the postseason, what did he do?
He was a different type of quarterback when he came into the postseason. Agreed.
He turned it on, and that's the problem. I think Aaron Rodgers only has one level. It's just on. He doesn't have that second gear for those important games, for when he needs to step his game up. Where, you know what I mean? It's more on him versus it's on everybody else on his team. Because, again, like there was a few years with the Packers where they didn't have a great defense, and they didn't have a shit ton of weapons for him. But for years, he did. He did.
Right.
Like, come on, man. Even in the last decade, he's had 5 different teams. He that were good defense. He had good weapons around him, and he still, for the lack of play in the fucking playoffs. Like, come on, man. The fact that we're seeing the Vikings in New Orleans, you know what I mean, play each other for a championship game. Where was the Packers at? Oh, that's right. They lost the week before to the Vikings. And it's like, come on, the Vikings. Everybody counts out the Vikings on the big games. But apparently, hey, you can count them over Green Bay. And that's what tickled me about Aaron Rodgers. Like, I do. I like him as a quarterback. He's great. But fuck, man. I'm tired of hearing how great he is when he doesn't win the games that count. So, yes, 100% he's on the hot seat as far as it comes between him and Durant for a championship.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with y'all. I think we're all in agreement that it's Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers only have that one Super Bowl. Yes, he has all these MVPs and all that stuff, but he has to win another one, and he has to win it with New York. That's just me. But I can understand why people put Durant in there because of the scrutiny of Durant got, knowing that you can't beat him, join him. He won 2 with him, left, and he has not won nothing since. And everybody, and a lot of fans, I'm not saying me, but a lot of fans out there is going to say, oh, Durant has to win one without Steph. He's going to have to win. Can he win one without Steph? Can he make his team and win a championship without being on the Golden State Warriors? I'm not saying this. I'm going off what the fans is saying across the world when it comes to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff. It comes down to, can Kevin Durant win without Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in the Golden State Warriors? Can he win another championship without them? So I can understand that. But in the agreement, I 100% agree it's Aaron Rodgers. I've been saying this for Aaron Rodgers for years. I don't care how many MVPs you won. I don't care. It shows that you needed Devontae Adams more than Devontae Adams needed you. That's what it showed. And it showed that last year when Devontae Adams got traded to my squad. And Devontae Adams still put up the numbers with a mediocre Derek Carr and still was leading the league in receiving touchdowns and almost had 1,500 yards receiving with a mediocre quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers, you had a down year without Devontae Adams. So, to me, yes, Durant, he definitely needs to win one without that stigma of him going to the Warriors and win another championship. Yes, he needs one without them. But who needs to win one, needs to win another title to their success is definitely Aaron Rodgers. It gotta be.
when you put in that perspective too, you don't think about that's kind of the same plug in with Aaron Rodgers though, because I mean, shit. I'm not saying the Jets are the Warriors, but they was already a good ass team. They just didn't have a quarterback. They was already a solid team. They just literally don't have a quarterback. You go into the same thing. You went from Jair to Sauce. You get what I'm saying? Like what the fuck? Now you got Brees Hall. You went from Aaron Rodgers. It's not like you. And then you still go pick up the same receivers you had in Green Bay. Basically, it's like it's the same thing with him. Like, does he have to be on a loaded ass team?
The receivers are better in New York than they was in Green Bay last year.
Yeah,
Aaron Wilson was their, offensive rookie of the year, and then they went out and got the boy Jackson, whatever his name, from Ohio State, and then you add Lazard to a Randall Cobb, and then they and the Packers defense was not great last year. Let's just call it what it is. The Jets was just a quarterback away.
Yeah.
Durant didn't need to go to the Warriors because the Warriors was winning with or without him. So that's the difference. That's the difference there.
But like I said, when you take Durant away from those finals that the Warriors had, it's like you know what I'm saying? When you look at the finals, when it came to them winning in those key games, it's like you can't take away him. You just can't take away them games.
I get it, but the fans
not like the fans are going to say
Durant can't win one without Steph. That's what they're saying.
But then can you say the same thing about Clay? Or can you say the same thing like
well, we can't say the same thing about Clay because Clay got drafted to the Warriors. We talking about the thing is, can we really say a thing about LeBron James? And that's why I feel like with LeBron James' situation is that he went to a Miami team. If you can't beat him, join him. But he didn't have that mentality. He just went to South Beach because that was his decision. But the fact that he went back to Cleveland and won a championship in Cleveland where he was drafted at, it throws that whole situation for LeBron James out the window. That means he was able to win one without being in Miami. You get what I'm saying? So it's the same thing, kind of the same thing for Durant. That stigma is, can he win one without being on that Golden State Warriors team? That was just the question. But we all in agreement that Aaron Rodgers is definitely, he needs at least 2 more titles for me to solidify him as one of the best to ever do it, in my opinion.
So I'll say this. I'll say this in Durant's defense. Okay. Durant spent a huge hunk of his time in OKC and wasted the majority of that time. So and the whole thing is like, he didn't join a Warriors team that was guaranteed to win the championship. They were not guaranteed to win the championship without Durant.
Right.
And if again, like what he said, when you look at the numbers, he contributed. Like it's not like he went there and the team was just as good with him there. No, he definitely made that team better. That's why, like, to me, I don't discount those championships. I don't say, oh, Kevin Durant only got the championship because of Steph Curry. No, because then I could say the same thing about Steph Curry. So Steph Curry wouldn't have that championship if it weren't for Durant. And then everybody goes, oh man, you sound like a goddamn fool. Well, for me, that's what it is with Kevin Durant. Now with him in Phoenix, with Booker and Beal and that setup. Now again, no excuses. You're probably the top, easily one of the top 3 teams in the entire league as far as talent goes. So there's no excuses. There's no excuses why either this year or next year they shouldn't be a championship team. Now, do I think they are going to? No. Nope. I think that's going to be a big problem because you have 3 guys who love to touch the ball, but you've only got 1 ball.
Yeah, and we were saying that as far as the success go for the Phoenix Suns, it's only 1 ball. It's only 1 ball. So it's going to be really tough to try to who's the first, who's the second, who's the third option in that. So I think we just all in agreement there of Aaron Rodgers needs at least 2 more. For me, he needs 2 more, in my opinion. He needs 2 more. And like I was saying earlier, that it reminds me of the Brett Favre conversation. Brett Favre only been to 1 Super Bowl. He only won 1. It's kind of like the Aaron Rodgers career if you look at it. I mean, he didn't win as many MVPs as Aaron Rodgers, but they both only got 1 Super Bowl under that organization. So if you want to solidify yourself to be a little bit one of those top quarterbacks of all time, you have to win multiples. And even though y'all might say Peyton Manning and that Denver Broncos team, yeah, they had a great defense and Peyton was on a decline. I get it, but he has multiple championships. I mean, I'm just saying.
Not even that. He'd been to multiple Super Bowls.
Right.
But the thing is, you don't win multiple Super Bowls. Jim Kelly is one of the best quarterbacks, and I'll tell easily in the top 20. Jim Kelly.
Right. He's been to 4 of them.
He's never won a Super Bowl, but he went to 4 fucking Super Bowls.
Right.
To me, it's just why LeBron is greatness. And he is great. Like he is great because even though he didn't win all of the finals he went to, but he got to the finals. He got his teams to the finals. And like I said, no, it's not as big as a championship, but you got your team there.
Yeah, you had a chance to compete for it.
These are team sports. You need to have a collective teamwork to win. So being an individual guy who's really pushing the sled with everybody else just fucking laying their asses on it, what can you do? You can't do everything yourself. You can try, but it's just like that. It's that little gray area in between, and that's where I like to sit at. I like the gray area.
Yeah, let me reply to this, Anthony Price. When it comes to Drew Brees, we understand that he got traded from the Chargers after he broke his collarbone and went to New Orleans. The thing is with Drew Brees, to me, and I don't care what nobody say, I think Drew Brees was more talented than Aaron Rodgers. He's more talented. He's more talented than Aaron Rodgers. Brees been to 2 Super Bowls. 2. Aaron Rodgers only been to 1. Russell Wilson, what he been to 2? Russell Wilson been to 2, right? He won one, and he lost one to the New England Patriots, right?
Are you considering coaching though, also, or just individual?
No, we're just talking about the quarterbacks because he's saying that if I'm saying what I'm saying about winning multiple championships Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers went to Super Bowl.
Drew Brees definitely. Yeah.
Drew Brees been there twice. Russell Wilson been there twice. They both won one, but they've been there twice. Aaron Rodgers has not been there twice in his career. He's been to multiple NFC championships, but he has not been to multiple Super Bowls appearances, but one.
Drew Brees has only been to 1 Super Bowl.
I thought he lost one as well.
Nah, he only played in the 1 Super Bowl.
No, he won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl with Sean Payton, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, he did. He won that Super Bowl.
And then they went back to the Super Bowl and lost to the Indianapolis Colts, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm checking the stats now.
I thought that he went to the Super Bowl twice. He lost one and he won one. Because he lost to the Indianapolis Colts when Tony Dungy was the first black coach to win a Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember that clearly because Drew Brees threw the interception.
Anthony Price, you see what you done started?
Who did the Peyton Manning Colts beat in the Super Bowl? Chicago Bears.
It was the Bears. My bad. Yeah, that's my fault. It was my fault. But he's been to one. He's been to 1 Super Bowl. That's my fault. That's my fault.
On the sideline.
That's my fault. But to me, I still feel like Drew Brees was a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. That's just my personal opinion.
Now, look, I'll say this. If Drew Brees was 6'2", I feel like that would not be as much as a hot take. Like that, it wouldn't have been, and he wouldn't have got overlooked in most of his career.
Exactly. But I still feel like when it comes to, for me, I just think like even with the height difference, I still like Drew Brees made more of an impact with the Saints than Aaron Rodgers did with the Packers. That's just in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. The Super Bowl that he won for New Orleans, especially after Katrina and all the shit that happened, that was a huge Super Bowl win. Like that literally lifted an entire city. You know what I mean? Pretty much the whole state. So that's why it was so much bigger versus like, the green and yellow, black and yellow Super Bowl.
Right. I get it, but I'm just not. I would just feel like Aaron Rodgers was an overhyped quarterback. Even coming out of Cal, I just thought he was an overhyped quarterback. But speaking of, I was going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks and the Lakers trades. I know we're going to get into that segment with the NBA draft and rumors, but I want to get into that Lakers thing that you talked about. And I actually have the audio of that, of they saying that LeBron James is frustrated with Anthony Davis. And it's this guy, I forgot his name. I think it's on the Zach Gibbs show. I actually have the audio here. I could play it for y'all right now. And this is what they had to say about LeBron James being frustrated being with Anthony Davis. Let me play it real quick.
I also heard a while back and heard this again that LeBron's moody. I mean, let's be straight, Zach. LeBron changes his mind on people, and you hear something that he thinks that can be true 1 minute. By the time sources tell you, it's changed. But I've heard he's over Anthony Davis. He's frustrated with the guy. He doesn't believe in his toughness for obvious reasons. So I'm extremely curious if the Lakers, I don't think they will, but do anything really bold. Maybe move AD. I don't think they're going to. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm just saying LeBron's angry, doesn't believe in his number 2. I think LA is under a lot of pressure to do something big from LeBron.
You think there's a chance, like an actual legit chance, that he could be dealt at some point this offseason?
I think there's a that's not true. I think there's a 3.5% chance. So is that a chance? I think that if Rob Pelinka, here's what I'll say. Because I first heard this before the trade deadline. If Rob Pelinka hadn't pulled off such a, I think, really impressive slate of moves at the trade deadline and brought in these random guys that became not so random and made the Lakers a team that obviously made the conference finals, if that hadn't happened, my percentage would be higher. There's a bit of a power struggle or a political struggle going on between LeBron and Pelinka. LeBron obviously wants what he wants, but I think Pelinka's got some political capital now with Jeannie Buss from that organization. And frankly, with all of us who thought he was just an idiot, he's not as it relates to being a GM. So I don't think Pelinka's just going to bow down to what LeBron wants, especially moving on from Anthony Davis. But I do think that LeBron's over AD, and I think there's a, not 0% chance that something like that could happen.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm going to tell you now, right? If LeBron sees anyone that has the talent that he wants, that they could get in return for Anthony Davis, he's going to bang on the table all day long. He is. Like I'm going to tell you now, especially off the last game, the last sweet game, like you could tell the difference in LeBron. He was not happy. He was pissed off. He went out there and he played harder than anybody on the fucking floor to be the oldest guy on the goddamn court. And it just baffles me that you know what I mean? Like he's playing harder than all of the other guys. He played harder than Anthony Davis. He played harder than Reeves. He played harder than Schroeder. He played harder than fucking what's that fucking the point guard? Fucking Dimebag Russell.
Yeah.
Because that's what he should be making, fucking dime bags. God damn.
Bro, what's your thoughts on this? Because I know you sent this in the group chat, and I was like, we was going to talk about the Lakers trying to trade their 17th pick and the Mavericks trying to trade their 10th overall pick. I think that's what they have. But I was like, this is more intriguing to me than talking about that. So when you first heard about this and now you're hearing that, what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, it's about time. Everybody been. I know some LA fans, and I know the last 2 years they've been tired of AD playing soft, and just tired of it. Like they just tired of it. And I mean, I don't know, but the only thing is, what would they be able to get in return for AD, and where would they be able to, like what would they be able to do with that? Like that's why I feel like maybe them trying to trade that pick. They might be able to try to do something with that pick and package AD in there with that. And then, because, I'll talk more about the pick stuff later, but they kind of don't have a lot to make something shake with. So it's kind of had to just be like AD for something. And who really want AD right now? Or who really needs AD right now on their team? I can't really think of a
Miami.
But Miami,
come on, Heat coach. I think Spoelstra could get a lot out of AD in this.
But they just had Pat. I think 2 days ago. They just had a big quote on ESPN where Pat Riley is basically saying like he feels like Tyler Hero and Bam are two centerpieces for their defense. So after I seen that quote, I was like, I don't think Bam's going anywhere. Probably not.
I don't think Bam is going to leave. I don't think Bam's going to leave or get traded. That would be bogus to try to trade Bam Adebayo from that Miami Heat team. But for me, I'm not surprised by this when it comes to LeBron James being frustrated with Anthony Davis, because look what you get with Anthony Davis in his Western Conference Finals or in his playoffs in itself.
So here's a hot take for you, right? So you package the pick, Anthony Davis, and maybe a role player for Embiid.
The Lakers get Embiid?
Oof.
I don't want Anthony Davis. Well, I mean, I'm not a Sixers fan, so the Sixers can do whatever they want. I'm not a Sixers fan anymore, so you can do whatever they want now.
Who are you going to pair with LeBron? Who would be best? You need a big man. You need a big man. Could you imagine the pick and rolls between LeBron James and Embiid?
I get it.
Trust the process. That would be the process.
I get it. But that's when Embiid is healthy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Are we looking at the same scenario with Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid at this point? Like when it comes to the playoffs, injury prone. When it comes to the playoffs, hear me out, man. I'm not saying in the regular season, because we see Embiid better than AD in the regular season. But in the last couple of years with AD and Joel Embiid, they've been very injury prone in the postseason. We have to agree to that.
Yeah, in a sense, absolutely. But like I said, when you're talking about LeBron here, LeBron brings the best out of most of the players. Like even Anthony Davis, he got a lot of good at it. But again, Anthony Davis plays soft a lot. And that's
because Nasir just said Embiid is way less soft than Embiid is way less soft than AD. I disagree with that. But go ahead, Matt.
Oh no, I mean, listen. I think Embiid. If you put Embiid in the right situation with the right guys who are going to feed him, who are going to run the pick and roll, who are going to set screens, who are going to work the floor as a team, oh my God, Embiid would be a much better. Like he could put up Jokic type numbers on a regular basis because you're giving him more to work with, and having a legend on the court as playing with LeBron. Like, again, it's going to elevate his game to a new level. Jokic showed us that you don't have to be fast. You don't. You don't need to be fast to be effective.
Agreed.
Okay? So that in itself is like, no, we don't need – they wouldn't need to push Embiid. They'd be able to play at Embiid's pace because it would be LeBron's pace. And then you'd have Austin. You know what I mean? You got a shot guy there. You're going to have to go pick up a new point guard. You know what I mean? Like there's other things that you're going to have to do, and they're obviously going to get younger. But it's like, if you're going to trade AD for somebody, let's trade him to get a piece that really can make a difference there. And that's the only reason why I put Embiid in it, because it's just a big name, a big guy, and I know he's going to demand big money. And that's all three things that Anthony Davis is demanding right now.
But I still don't understand the reasoning why. I mean, outside of Anthony Davis being inconsistent in the playoffs, what other frustrations could LeBron have? Is it? I mean, okay, we know the injury-prone AD. We know the inconsistencies that we see from AD. We see sometimes when we watch AD, we gets the best out of AD sometimes, and then the next night you get a mediocre AD that like could be a third-tier center at some point. It's outside of those two things. What else LeBron James could be frustrated about with AD at this point, outside of those two things that
does it have to be anything else besides
no,
that?
it's that.
That's
exactly that. So it's like going to work every day. You go work out and you load trucks for a living. All right. The guy sitting next to you is getting paid the same amount as you to do the same work you're doing. And 9 times out of 10, he's sitting there playing on his phone while you're the one loading the shit. And you're like, hold on, I know what I've been here for 6 years. This motherfucker started last year.
Right.
Why am I carrying all this shit? I'm the senior. And that's why he's feeling like, bro, there's no way I should be out working AD. There's no way I should be out playing AD. This motherfucker's in his prime. He's
Facts.
one of the best guys in this damn league, and I'm outshining him most nights. Nah, bro, I get it. And that's why LeBron is upset. They brought AD there to complement James and to make his job easier, to give him more weapons to make them more successful. But the problem is you're not available sometimes. You play like dog shit half the games in the fucking playoffs. What more do you need? Those two things right there are enough to drive anybody fucking nuts. Let's be honest. So yeah, no.
Agreed. I get it. I get it. So, it really depends on what the package is. Like, what are you going to get back in return? If Philadelphia wants to try to go out and get an Embiid and stuff of that nature, I don't know if Philadelphia is going to do that. I mean, it's a hot take, but I don't think Philadelphia will pull that trigger. I don't think so. It's a hot take, but I don't think it would happen.
I'm just using the example. Even switch it up. Say trade for Karl Anthony Towns.
That's what I think, man. I think people are asleep on Towns.
Is it AD to Minnesota? I mean, Minnesota they're willing to give up anything at this point. If you see the trades that they had pulled in the last couple of years, I mean, you see how they got Rudy Gobert, right? I mean, you see that trade was weird. It was a weird ass trade how they got Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I just said, I feel like if they trade away Anthony Davis, that's because LeBron. Because of LeBron. They're not going to trade away Anthony Davis because of the coach, because of the GM, because of any damn body else. It's strictly going to be LeBron's call if AD ships.
Okay. Say no more. But make sure y'all hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube as well. And make sure y'all check us out on the audio version of the Darion Hopkins Show, which will be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. We're all on those platforms as well. Book, I'm going to give you the floor on this one, brother. Put you in the middle of this. What updates that you have on the NBA draft? Knowing the NBA draft is tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And look like most likely we probably will be live for that. I'm not too sure though, because I just got booked for a recording gig, a videographer a gig, so I'm not too sure if I'm doing a draft or not. But what are the latest news around the NBA draft at this point, as far as like trades? I know that the Brandon Miller Charlotte is looking to pick him, and I heard some rumors about Scoot talk about he wants to go number 1. I don't know if you saw that article on ESPN, but he said that Scoot wants to go number 1. But that's another story for another time. So what you got for us today, man, for the NBA draft?
So I have seen the last one I was looking at was Utah might be trading Colin Sexton. And so they're thinking about trading Colin maybe with the Pistons. They're trying to trade up to get Anthony Black. You know, so there's a lot of teams trying to trade to get Anthony Black right now, but Utah is trying to make them run. So, of course, we had the Mavs, too. The Mavs trying to trade their number 10 pick. They might re-sign Kyrie. They want to make a run in the West, and they're thinking to trade away the 10th pick to go get a veteran for him and Luka. So, I mean, I don't really know. You know, they lost Finney Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie, so I know they're kind of looking maybe for, like, some defense, a little bit of scoring somewhere in there. But if they don't trade away their 10th pick, they're saying that they might get Bilal. I don't know if you know a lot about Bilal, but that's another guy. I think he played on the team with Wemby.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're thinking about going to get him. And so then you got the Lakers, of course, thinking about trading away that number 17 pick. So it's crazy y'all talking about that earlier. I don't know if anybody ever been going over the Lakers roster, but the Lakers, so it's right now it's LeBron James, it's AD, Malik Beasley, Mo Bamba, you got Jared Vanderbilt, Max Christie, and Shaquille Harrison.
That's all under contract, correct?
Right now, because Austin Reeves and Hachimura are restricted free agents. So they're probably gonna sign somewhere else. And they're still saying they're looking to surround AD and Bron with some, I guess, some perimeter shooters, some potential talent. So I don't know. The Lakers probably going to make a better run in free agency than they are in the draft. Most definitely.
But one thing I can say about Denver, they definitely found their gym in Christian Braun, from Kansas. They found their gym there. One thing I can say about Denver, they know how to draft and they know how to go in free agency. If they could sign Bruce Brown and get another piece to come off that bench, I think that it will be enough. I think the starting five stay the way it is for Denver.
Because I didn't even think about that. Like Hachimura, like that would be I mean, he might want a bag, but if he goes to like a Denver, that could be crazy coming off the bench.
Who going to Denver? Austin Reeves?
No, I said a Hachimura.
Oh, Hachimura.
If he was to go,
I don't see that.
He would fit good with them off the bench.
Yeah, but I think he'll be deep down the bench. I don't think he's going to take the 6-man away from Bruce Brown. I just don't think that.
I mean, but Bruce is still more of a Bruce could play 2-3, but he can bring the ball down. He might drop Bruce down to like a small ball 4. Like Hachimura more of that shooting guard, small forward type. I feel like they can use Bruce. They can implement Bruce almost anywhere for them.
That's true too. So as far as the number with that number pick for the Dallas Mavericks, now what are they trying to do with that move in itself? Like, are they trying to go for a vet? 'Cause I heard some rumors about them. They want to trade for a vet as well.
No, they want a vet. They want a vet most definitely. Like, they want a vet, but it's just who are they going to get? And so it's like basically they have to make a choice. Like I guess that's why they're kind of putting it out there. They're going after Bilal because like they can't get it off for somebody. They're going to pull the trigger on it and just go ahead and just pick. I guess try to get somebody they feel like can come in and contribute right then. And so I did a little bit of. We'll get into Bilal a little bit later, but they definitely want a vet. They don't want to use that pick, but it's not really a lot of talks about who they're going for or if they're even going to re-sign Kyrie yet. So. That's still a thing. Also,
you think Brandon Miller is the second pick? If that's who Charlotte wants,
so I get into Brandon. It's crazy. That was the first.
Mac, I'm waiting on you to come back, bro. That's why That's why I dropped you down. I'm waiting for you to come back. Looking at your background like that, brother.
They had two. It was 2 workouts, of course. So the first one they actually said that Scoot outplayed. Well, not outplayed, but that he did a little better than Brandon. They said the second one, Brandon did good. Of course, Scoot still did great. But basically, it's straight coming down to Scoot needs the ball in his hands to be the best he can be. LaMelo Ball, he needs the ball in his hands to be the best he can be. It just doesn't it wouldn't kind of add up in their favor. So they're saying that even Michael Jordan himself saying he likes Brandon a little bit more. And Brandon, the biggest thing that I've been telling everybody this morning, they've been seeing my posts, I'm like, Brandon Miller can play off the ball. Point blank period, he can play off the ball. And that's not saying Scoot can't do that, but that's not Scoot's strong suit. So you'll be kind of taking him away. And they already have that dominant ball handler. So I definitely see them getting Miller over Scoot. And I guess that's when things start kind of falling in the road. Because like if Scoot doesn't go first or second, then that's when stuff get crazy. Because it's like, okay, now some stuff can happen, and a lot of people are going to fall back even further. So I feel like if that doesn't go, which Charlotte's going to get Brandon Miller. They're going to get Brandon.
So do you feel like Charlotte's as now if Charlotte just actually going out and saying that they're going to get Brandon Miller? Are they just being like, listen, we don't want no trades. Brandon Miller is our guy, and that's who we getting at number 2.
Yeah, I don't think they're making no trades. You gotta think so. They gonna bring Miles Bridges back probably. Keep LaMelo there. Bring in Brandon. They might go sign. I can see them going to sign somebody, but I don't see Charlotte's kind of. If you've known us for the last couple years, I think since they turned into the Hornets, they kind of just been on we going to sign some young guys and we just going to build. We haven't really been – I think the oldest guy we might have had is like Marvin Williams, Cody Zeller. Like we haven't really had no old guys like that on the team. Everybody's been kind of young. So I think they definitely going to go with a young team again and just try to make the run for they can, try to bring back Miles Bridges and bring back I don't know who else. I mean, I know they saying Cody Martin is definitely gone, so I'm not sure what they gonna do as far as that. But they not making any trades. They're gonna say Brandon Miller's the guy because it's literally the only reason they're not getting Scoot is because they feel like Brandon fits better with the system. Brandon can play better on ball.
Yeah, you just answered that. But it's really going to come down to now. We already know that, Victor's going to be number 1 with the San Antonio Spurs. We know Brandon Miller's going to be number 2. Now, number 3 comes into play with the Portland Trailblazers. And we heard any trades of them moving down or they staying with that pick, knowing that we heard the whole Damian Lillard trade. We heard people trade like he wants vets there. What have you heard, as far as rumors go or anything that goes for Portland? Are they going to stay with that number 3 pick in your opinion?
So Portland or the Rockets could possibly be using that 3 or 4 to make a potential blockbuster trade with the Clippers, if that's what they choose to do. And that's what I was telling you with the Paul George thing. You get what I'm saying? So it's like if that's what they choose to do. But like you said, the biggest ability is availability. And
right.
Paul George is like he would come to it. Both teams, kind of healthy teams, young team. I mean, Nurkic I think was out for a little bit, but both teams not that unhealthy, kind of young rosters. I don't just know if that's worth them spending those picks to get him, but that's what I'm hearing about them is maybe them using one of those picks to make a trade. Usually a block. Well, not gonna say usually. It's gonna be a blockbuster with the Clippers.
And do you think that happens on draft night?
I call it happening on draft
Paul
night.
George, you might be a Portland Trailblazer, bro. Which I don't think is a good move, but hey. So RC says, I hope Anthony Black falls to the Pacers at 7, but that's only if we don't deal the pick for a veteran addition. And Miles Turner has been on the trading block as well in the last couple of seasons. So they might try to move I just don't see that. I don't see that as well. So I mean Miles Turner, he could go to a few places. He could go to a few places. Anything else you got before we move on to the next topic or anything of that nature when it comes to the NBA draft?
So I do want to talk about the Twins a little bit. So they said as far as right now, the Twins are the best athletes in the draft when it comes to matching up the NBA athletes. They are saying Amin is going. I think it's how I want to say it right. Amin, he shows more a facilitator and passer, great pick and roll skills. So they say he might be drafted to go higher. They really kind of got him at 4th. And they say his shot selection is like a scoring wing. He shoots good, but his brother just is a more facilitator, and so the Rockets could make sense for him. If that's why everybody's saying that the Trailblazers are probably going to make the Paul George move because they're putting a man into the Rockets with him, Jalen Green, Tyree.
Mm-hmm.
And then that, like we said, if they can still go get a Kyle Kuzma, like that makes them a playoff, something a force to be reckoned with. I feel like, and I tried to do well. I started late, but I want to drop these 3 players on y'all today. I didn't get to talk about yesterday. Taylor Hendricks, Walker from Houston, and Cam Whitmore. And
from
so,
Villanova,
Walker,
right?
Yeah, so we'll get somebody asked about Whitmore yesterday, so I'll talk about Whitmore a little bit. 6'6", 235. He's an explosive athlete who gets to the rim. He's not just a driver though. And his biggest thing when I was watching his highlights is he cuts. Like that's like a part of his game. Like he's liable to be a lob threat in the league because the way he just plays the back door and he cuts a lot. And he has a decent handle, but I like Whitmore. Walker's another player I like. 6'6", 249. He got 7-foot wingspan. Competitive defender. He could thrive in the switching schemes like how we seen Boston. Like Boston was doing all that switching and stuff like that. You could throw somebody like him in there. Supposedly, he could help out like that. Offensively, he can finish through contact, get you an acrobatic finish if he need. He makes good passes to the spot like out the post, like just or down the court. Makes good laser passes to spot on shooters. but he needs to work on his shooting form, and he can't really hit free throws like that. And Hendricks is the last player from UCF, 6'8", 214, bouncy, versatile wing player. He can score in various ways, defend multiple positions. He needs to work on his shooting, but he's athletic and versatile. And they say he shades of Jeremy Grant. So I feel like that's another big player too. I had missed him yesterday, but those are just three players: Walker, Whitmore, and Hendricks. Definitely look out for them in the draft.
Taylor Hendricks, I see the potential for an improved Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah, I like Whitmore, man. Just and Jonathan not bad. I feel like didn't he go back down with a bad injury or something? What happened to Jonathan? Did he tear something or something?
Yeah,
like
he
that?
got hurt last year. I thought it was like a tore ACL, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah.
I think he's going to bounce back from that.
Yeah,
I think he's going to bounce back from that. But let's get on to the NFL topics now. We went through a lot of NBA talk in this first hour and 25 minutes. A lot of NBA talk when it came to it. Now, I want to wait for Mac, but I know he's working, and I'm gonna bring the topic back up when he gets there. And I want to get into a very interesting one before we get into your. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's get into your thoughts about the whole Tyreek Hill situation. I really didn't. I was trying to wait for it. But I can't wait anymore because I know you're a Miami Dolphins fan, and
look,
I don't know if you read the article on it, but what was your thoughts when you first heard the initial stuff about Tyreek Hill?
Okay, like it's funny because like when I read the whole article and they said like he slapped the guy, I just think he slapped the guy. I didn't even see he say he slapped him in the back of the head first. So I'm like, this guy, he had to be joking around, like playing around, probably doing a prank or something. You know, Tyreek. If you ever seen Tyreek or follow him on social media, he always like doing pranks. He like a YouTube guy kind of.
Right.
So he was probably doing something like that. And then they said the guy, whoever he slapped in the back of the head, didn't even want to press charges. So I was like, okay, they just. You know, but like how we said, like when you're a professional, you have to carry yourself like a professional. Like it's just lucky that this guy is probably like, oh, this Tyreek Hill, he don't want to press charges. But I feel like they're just trying to blow it up because they know we're gonna be this year. You know, so they just trying to blow it up. They gotta have something. They gotta try to throw something out there. They like this team. We ain't been hearing nothing about them. Just them picking up players, just getting better. Tua getting big. You know, you ain't been saying nothing bad about us. They had to put something out there. That's how I really feel. But Tyreek just being goofy, man. He need to tighten up though, because it could be more serious. Like if the guy wanted to press charges and then we lose him for some games, that's a whole different offense now. So he definitely needs to tighten up. But
according to ESPN, they said the Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill is under investigation on allegations of assault/battery at Miami Beach Marina. Spokesperson said that the Miami-Dade Police department said on Tuesday that according to WPLG TV in Miami, that Tyreek Hill allegedly hit a marina employee during a disagreement that took place on Sunday. Miami sports radio show Andy Slater reported that Hill slapped the employee on the back of the head, that the employee has declined to press charges at this time. Dolphins released a statement through the spokesperson acknowledging and reporting the incident, saying that we are aware of the situation, that we have been in contact with Tyreek and his representatives and the NFL. The Dolphins said, we will reserve further comment at this time. He was entering his second season with the Miami Dolphins after spending six seasons of his career with the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's all we know as of right now for the Tyreek Hill thing. Now, in my opinion, if you're not going to press charges, it's nothing else that the NFL can do at this point. We don't know what the disagreement was. We don't know what the altercation was. There's no footage out there stating that he really hit him in the back of the neck.
That's it for it.
You know, it's really at this point is he say, she say. And we don't really see Tyreek Hill in this type of thing is to hit somebody on the back of the neck, back of the head for what? Now, I mean, we grew up playing like we hit somebody on the back of the neck, just playing. You know, we grew up in that type of nature, especially if you in the black younger neighborhoods, in the black communities. You know, playing around and hit somebody on the back of the head, cool. But we don't know what the disagreement was, and that's why I feel like everything has been taken out of context with this. Of course, ESPN's going to try to find anything to write on their website to make it bigger than what it is. But Tyreek Hill, we know that he's been in some situations, but this one here, I just feel like this is a reach. Now, if the guy wanted to press charges after the disagreement and then he hit him up on the back of the head, then we might be having a different story here. But we're not having a different story now because there's no charges being pressed. He don't want to talk about it. He wants to move on. And now the NFL got to get in because they got to do their little own investigation. And I don't think they're going to take this seriously because if the guy really wanted to sue Tyreek Hill, if the guy really wanted to take that man to court and press charges and put him in jail, then we would be having a different conversation. But it's just a reach at this point. And now he's looking like he's trying to get clout instead of money in this situation. That's just how I see it when it comes to this Tyreek Hill thing. I think it's blown over. NFL gonna do their investigation. Miami gonna do their investigation. Tyreek Hill's not gonna miss any games. I don't see that happening. Now, if the guy decides to change his mind and be like, "Oh, I want to press charges and I want to do this and I want to do that," then we have that conversation. But until then, this shit's gonna blow over.
Yeah.
This shit's gonna blow over. It's stupid. It's just dumb as hell that you really have to go out your way and have a disagreement with an NFL player, knowing you knew who he was, just to get some clout. I'm sorry, that's whack to me. That's whack. Now let's get into the nitty gritty of the topic that I really wanted to talk about, and I really hope I have Eagles fans, Cowboys fans, Giants fans, and Commanders fans in here. I really want to have this conversation.
I got a surprise answer for you.
So, what NFC East rival has a no? Let me reiterate that. What NFC East rival can give the Philadelphia Eagles a run for their money this year?
I said the Cowboys. I said the Cowboys. I said the Cowboys, man. If Dak doesn't throw for 15 picks and only start 12 games like last year, they might do something. They don't have a bad defense. They got all right offense. They picked up Brandon Cooks this year. I mean, the Eagles lost 5 defensive starters as well as their offensive and defensive coach, and they might have one of the most difficult schedules in the league. I can see the Cowboys doing it to them this year. I can see the Cowboys if Dak comes to play. Now, if Dak has his mind right, I can see them winning.
Yeah, I understand they went out, and I understand Dallas Cowboys went out and got Stephon Gilmore, which I still think he's on a decline ever since he left. I still think he's on a decline ever since he left New England. He didn't do nothing in Carolina. He didn't do nothing with the Colts. I just think I'm not really a big fan of Stephon Gilmore like I used to be. Brandon Cooks, no matter where you put that man at, Brandon Cooks is one of those guys that you can always get 1,000 yards receiving from. I don't care if we are the quarterbacks of the team. That man's going to find a way to get open and catch the football. That's one thing about Brandon Cooks. So I think that was what, Mac? You see, that's why I don't have you up here, because you in the background looking all crazy. But I don't think the Washington Commanders can give them a run for their money, but I do like the potential of having Eric Bieniemy over there as the OC and the assistant coach. Now that really will help out, their quarterback situation with Sam Howell, very young, but they have a very talented defense. That's one thing I can say about the Washington Commanders. Now, the New York Giants might be my underrated team that could possibly give the Philadelphia Eagles a run for their money, just only if they have Saquon Barkley back here. That's only if Saquon Barkley get his contract, and they got to go out and get some receivers. But I think defensively they are really good, and I get what Book said. They lost a lot of defensive players. Marcus Epps, one of them, going to the Raiders. TJ Edwards I think he went to Chicago, or he went somewhere else. He's no longer there. I don't think they re-signed the Ndamukong Suh on the defensive line, but they did go get DeAndre Carter out of Georgia now with Jordan Davis, and them boys still got Fletcher Cox there And and the Eagles offense is just as good. But if you want to look at just athletes on paper, I mean, of course, everybody's going to go with the Cowboys. Everybody's going to go with the Cowboys here. And I'm not going with them. I think the Giants take a leap, go to the next level this year. I think Danny Dimes will go to another level. Well, I think they will try to give them a run for their money. Yes. I'm just not trusting Dallas at this point. I can't trust the Commanders at this point. And now that you don't really have an OC, mind you, Bud, just let you know that what's his name? Their Dallas OC is no longer their OC. He's in LA with the Chargers now.
I mean, but that would put them in the same boat with the Eagles, would it not? They just lost both.
Yeah, they lost both, but I Mike McCarthy as their offensive play caller, I'm not trusting it. I'm not trusting it as Mike McCarthy as the play caller for the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, understand you have CeeDee Lamb, you have Brandon Cooks. Schultz is not there anymore for Dallas.
Crazy you mentioned CeeDee Lamb because that's just who I was about to bring to attention. CeeDee Lamb finished both seasons with the top 12 receiving grade. Even last year, he recorded 372 yards in the slot, which led all receivers in the league.
Right.
I mean, 972 yards in the slot. My bad. Correct that. 372. 972 yards in the slot, which was leading our receivers in the league. Like, he like you just when you get in production like that, I don't know, man. You just need the man to put the ball there. And they still didn't play bad last year. Even with Dak's situation, they still weren't disgusting last year. They just weren't as good as they should. But I think that's like a Dallas thing at this point. But they just weren't as good as they should have been, I feel like.
I think if the Commanders' offense can stay healthy, you might see and just get Eric Bieniemy, knowing that he's a great offensive play caller. I mean, you could throw the Commanders in there, but I think will they give them a run for their money right now? I think you have to really wait it out and see how the Commanders play the whole season. Until they play the Philadelphia Eagles. But on paper, of course, Dallas is the number one team to give them a run for their money. But I still like this Philadelphia Eagles team to win the division. I just do, just because even though they lost coordinators, to me, when it comes to the defensive coordinator, I think he was very unproven in Philadelphia, and then to take the job in Arizona. I don't think you proved shit to be the head coach for Arizona Cardinals. I don't think you proved a damn thing. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think you proved shit. I just think you had the talent, but you didn't really prove nothing as a good defensive coordinator. Now, the offensive coordinator, a little bit different. Jalen Hurts, elevated his career more and more under the same system. I think Nick Sirianni is going to keep the same system, but get a different offensive coordinator because Nick Sirianni is going to help call the plays. Because Nick Sirianni is an offensive guy in that. But I agree with Anthony Price. He just said, I'll be scared more of the Washington defense than our offense. Absolutely agreed.
Yeah, now Washington, that's the only thing to really be scared of.
Yeah, it's really to be scared of. If Chase Young can stay 100% healthy, and then I forgot the other defensive player that they had that was just I think it was Montez Sweat or Josh Sweat is one of those two guys. Last name Sweat, I know that much. But they really good on the defensive side of the ball. That's one thing about the Washington Commanders. They always been good on the defensive side of the ball. The Giants kind of the same way too. Dallas very inconsistent defensively. What's the running back room going to look like for Dallas now? No Zeke. Got Tony Pollard coming off of an injury as well. So it's going to be I think all three teams can make a run, but on paper in itself, you have to say Dallas. On paper, until they actually show something, unfortunately.
I mean, but I just feel like you always have to consider Micah Parsons. Like, I mean, like that's just a big factor.
And I understand that, but I just feel like the inconsistency, if they can stop the inconsistency, and we can see that defense week in and week out, and be a top 5 defense or a top 10 defense in this league, then we could make an argument there. But right now, they even though they got Diggs is one of those guys that he gets lucky with interceptions. I'm sorry to say, he gets lucky with interceptions, but he do get beat on double moves a lot. But I mean, once this team come together, and here comes the big bad wolf himself, I definitely want to hear what he has to say. So you need to unmute yourself real quick.
So first off, you said any one of us could be a quarterback for Brandon Cook and get 1,000 yards.
Yeah, damn Skippy.
I had standing here started laughing his ass off.
Because it's the truth. If you look at all the teams that Brandon Cooks went to and all the quarterbacks that he had over 1,000 yards every damn season. But the question is that what NFC East rival is going to give the Philadelphia Eagles a run for their money? Boog says the Dallas Cowboys. I said it could be any other three teams at this point.
Yeah, if Dak doesn't throw all the picks, I could see them. I could see them being a problem.
Yeah. I'll say this first, okay? Dak has to be better. If Dak isn't better, he's on that short list, okay? Washington, if they had a fucking quarterback, okay, that shit would be.
I think Sam Howell's going to be their quarterback. I think Sam Howell's going to be good under Eric Bieniemy.
Again, like I said, he may be good. He may be good, but I'm saying from what I've seen, he's a decent quarterback. Okay, yeah. Let's be honest, he's decent. We can see what he can build off of, and with Bellamy and all that. Like we'll see. But I'm saying on paper right now, okay, if they did have a quarterback, you know what I'm saying. If they had a Herbert, you know what I'm saying. Like, bro, Washington would be right underneath. Like Cowboys, nothing. It would be Washington, but because it's not, I'm going to switch it. I'm going to say it's going to be the Eagles fighting the Giants.
Okay, that was my first pick. I picked the Giants. I think that if Daniel Jones makes that leap, and they got my boy Chris Tillman from Tennessee. If you go look at Tennessee, they got him in the draft. He's 6'5", 207, really big, can run routes, and he runs a 4.4. Guy is big. Guy is good. So even though Slayton is not one of those guys that really scares you in the wide receiver core, but he can make things happen with it. But Danny Dimes does have to elevate, and Saquon Barkley has to be there to help this offense try to be a rival or try to give the Philadelphia Eagles a run for the money. And like I don't know if you was listening, but Bud had some valid points. Eagles lost 5 defensive players. They lost their defense and their offensive coordinator as well. So I still think that the Eagles still run this division as of this year, because I think Nick Sirianni is an offensive guy. Even if they don't go get an offensive coordinator, Nick Sirianni is just that offensive guy. He could call plays. We saw him do it before. So, I mean, as of right now, the Eagles can win the division, but to give them a run for the money, I say the Giants over Dallas. Dallas have too many holes for me at this point.
I mean, and again, I'm going to say what I keep saying. As far as Dallas is concerned, okay, until they fix the front office and stop playing favoritism, nothing's going to fucking change. Jerry Jones needs to go ahead and get himself an actual GM and get him actual front office people that can help him, okay? And honestly, I think that's been the problem for years. That's why it's like, Cowboy fans, the problem is right in front of your face.
Right.
And it is, because it's like even when you have a good defense and a good offense, they always shit the bed. Somehow or another, somebody gets injured, they shit the bed. Somebody's not playing well, they shit the bed. It's always one reason or another. And my whole thing is, again, I put that shit squarely on Dak. It's Dak Prescott. I don't care. Right. I don't care. He's the leader of that team. Okay. Nobody defense is playing quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody else on that team can really lead that team besides him. So it's on Dak Prescott's shoulders. And that's what I see. Jerry Jones, you suck. Dak Prescott, be better.
Your quick reaction to I don't know if you read the article about Tyreek Hill, but what's your quick thing on that? And I said it before. I said this is going to blow over because I think it's bullshit. The guy's not pressing charges. He hit him on the back of the head during a disagreement. There's no video out there. There's no proof that Tyreek Hill actually did it. So I think this is going to blow over. I think this is just complete bullshit. The guy just wanted clout.
I mean, I hope it does blow over. You're worth millions of dollars. Why are you fucking bro? You put $20 million in my bank account. I'm never arguing with another motherfucker again in my life. I promise. Okay, I'm gonna be okaying the shit out of people and carrying on about my motherfucking day. Like I just don't get it. Like you're worth millions of dollars. You are a stock. People are buying stock in you as a human, as an athlete, as
right.
a person. Okay, why would you jeopardize anything? Why would I just that's my whole thing. Like you have nothing to prove to anyone, and if you do feel that way, come here. I'll give you a hug and make you feel better. But you don't gotta prove shit. Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your phones to yourself. Keep everything to yourself. Like I don't understand it. Like it's a horrible mindset that these young players have. And I'm not even just talking about like being a 30-year-old athlete. Yes, that's technically old, but that's still young. You know, it's still young when you're talking about living life. All right. And it's like some of these guys need to check themselves and realize what good predicaments they're in and cherish it, love it, be grateful that you're in the position you're in. Because I mean, literally, if the league needs to step in and help people, then I guess that's what it needs to happen. Right. But it is like there needs to be some type of organization that helps these guys out. Like, if you're having issues, if you're having problems, if you have a complex, if you have anger, if you have, depression, all that stuff, like it's all in one. You got
just go get the help. Go get the help.
And for real, like don't put yourself in jeopardizing predicaments because you feel like you were right. So what? Okay, you're right. You're right. Now be more right by walking away and not causing a scene. Like the fact that more people flip and click their phones on to record shit. You have like people are getting shot, people are getting beat up, people are drowning, and people are making videos of the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what's gonna happen. That's the world we live in now. So if that's the world we live in, and you know you need to know better, so you can keep the money you have, continue living the life you want, then those things that you're no longer got to be a tough guy. You don't need to be a tough guy. If you feel like people are coming after you, know it's called. Hey, I need some private security because they ain't gonna tell me you can't afford it. And I think little things like that just like I do. I feel like it's more on the players than it is the NFL, or any professional league for that matter. But it's like, come on, man, you gotta do better. You gotta know better, and you gotta do better.
We just got some quick breaking news here of just some NBA draft news, just to let y'all know that the Nuggets and Pacers are trading picks. So the Denver Nuggets is sending a 2024 first round pick and a 2023 second round pick to the Indiana Pacers for number 29 and 32 picks this year. Just want to, throw that quick one out there.
Say that last part again. I'm sorry.
So, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, let me just go back to it real quick. Adrian Wojnarowski says that, darn, where'd it go? Oh, here it go. So he said the Nuggets, they said as the Nuggets prepare for possibility of losing Bruce Brown in free agency, they'll be drafted at number 29, 32, and 37 on Thursday, with a chance of gathering some young role players for a championship window. And Calvin Booth picked Christian Braun at 21 last year. And then the Pacers have 4 picks on Thursday night, which is number 7, 26, 40, and 55, and they're remaining active in talks elsewhere. According to Bleacher Report, they said that it was a 2024 first round pick and a 2023 second round pick. And the Pacers are getting the number 29 overall pick, and I think it's another pick that they're getting.
Yeah. That's a lot.
It's a lot. But Anthony Price said, what is your input on the NFL gambling rules? Like we said yesterday, just don't gamble at the facilities at all. I think it's a smart move. We talked about it yesterday. Just like Max said, get a burner account, gamble at home, leave that phone at home, and come to work. That's it. Simple as that. Simple as that. because I wanted to get on to the next topic. That's why I wanted to rush through that quick, gambling rule stuff on that nature. But Joe Hayden, and I hope Boog is still here too. I hope he's still here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Joe Hayden, the toughest receivers the toughest receivers to cover, he picked 5 of them. And you wouldn't be surprised that y'all probably be surprised when he put at number 1. Or do you want me to go from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5? I would love to. Which one y'all want me to do here?
5 to 1.
All right. So we gonna go with this. So the first one that he said that the 5 that he has here. Okay, so he followed it with AJ Green, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, Calvin Johnson, and Antonio Brown was the 5 toughest receivers that he had to cover. Do y'all agree with the 5 that he named? Are they really the top 5 receivers to cover in his league?
Hold on. I know. I'm sorry. Repeat that order again.
So the order was AJ Green, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, Calvin Johnson, and Antonio Brown. It was the 5 receivers that it was toughest to cover, according to him, as him being a corner. It's according to him. It's not according to me.
Dude, I agree with it.
Boog, what you got to say about this, bruh?
I agree, man. I don't know about AJ because if you know about my boy and AJ, how he did AJ Green, then if you know, you know. But
I think we're talking about. I think it's AJ Green in his prime is what he's talking about.
Yes, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Years. Look at the stats from his first 8 years. He fucking killed us. Okay.
Now AJ Green's a dog. He a dog.
And Anthony Price, I just want to clarify. This is his list.
Yeah, this is his personal list.
Guarded,
this is his personal list.
He covered.
Yeah.
He didn't cover T.O. He didn't cover Randy Moss. He's talking about the top 5 receivers that he.
What did you say number 2 was, D-Hop?
Calvin Johnson.
Oh yeah.
You got to remember he played for the Browns for the first decade, and
he played for Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
the second decade of his career. So it's like, you know what I mean? Who is he facing on a regular basis? Yeah. He's always faced AJ Green. That's why AJ Green would put up numbers on anybody. Motherfucker had 3 catches for 120 yards in a touchdown.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Facts. Yo, I loved AJ Green when it came to fantasy or Madden. I'd pick AJ Green.
Oh no, AJ Green on Madden is crazy.
But as a Ravens fan, I hated him.
Now, I agree or kind of disagree in a way, but I understand why he put it out there because of who he defended. Now, if this was just a list of the toughest receivers to guard, then we might have a different conversation. But I think this conversation can't be no different because this is the guys that Joe Hayden went up against twice a year when it came to Odell Beckham, when it came to AJ Green, when it came to Antonio Brown. Calvin Johnson, he probably played him like once a year. Julio Jones like once a year. But if we wanted to do tough wide receivers in general, who would you swipe out of this list?
So if you wanted to put
if this was your list, who would be your 5? Like, or if you would keep this 5 and you will swipe someone out to put someone in, who would it be?
Well, first off, on my personal list, Larry Fitzgerald is definitely in that top 5.
Agreed.
You're talking about a guy who literally he did not drop a pass. Okay, he had more balls defended than he had dropped passes in his career.
That's why I loved about Larry Fitzgerald. I was so mad that he did not want to leave Arizona, bro.
Yeah, no, and I don't mean Antonio Brown. Like you're talking about for a decade, he was a top 3 wide receiver every year of that decade.
Before he went into his debacle with Pittsburgh and coming to the Raiders, before that, you could not argue that Antonio Brown was not one of the best receivers in the league. You could not argue that he wasn't, which he was, in my opinion.
Now, I will say this: my sleeper wide receiver, and you can say it's for personal reasons, but Anquan Bolden was a fucking dog. That man was a dog in every sense. Whether it was with the Ravens, before the Ravens, after the Ravens, there's nowhere that man didn't go to and dominate.
You might not like this one, Mac. You might not like this one, but people sleep on him so bad when it came to route running, and that was Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah.
What? Chad's one of my wide receivers.
Yeah, it's like, damn, did my boy Steve Smith not get no love because he was in Carolina or something? Like,
no. I was going to get there.
Yeah,
because I was going to get there. Steve Smith was very underrated he was so small in the way that he played, but the way Chad Ochocinco released off the line, no matter how many times you try to jam him, his footwork, it really just got everybody moving in a certain way. Like he made corners look slow off the line. He made corners look slow, and that's what I love about wide receivers that could route run. Another underrated one outside of Steve Smith, if we want to go back, we could go to Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, Marvin.
Another one that we could talk about. I mean, Randy Moss and T.O. is definitely up there. That's given. They was hard. They were definitely tough to cover in those eras. But Marvin Harrison was very, very underrated. And the Reggie Waynes too. But Marvin Harrison was just a different breed when it comes to tough receivers. But
I mean, and I'm a lot younger than y'all. But was Hines Ward, like, y'all think Hines Ward was nice?
Yes, I thought Hines Ward was nice, but was he tough to cover? I don't think he was one of those receivers that was tough to cover.
He wasn't necessarily tough to cover. He was more of a like an Anquan Bolden type, but
more finesse.
How do we not mention Dez? How do you not mention Dez when you talk about tough to cover? Dez Bryant, man.
Well, because the last 3 years Dez was in the league, he wasn't.
But come on.
Ever since that was a no catch at Green Bay, his career has not been the same since. Basically,
no. I mean, like, yes, I'll say he had like 4 or 5 years where he was one of the top guys.
Yeah, you had to double team him.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just. To sit here and think back, and you're thinking like, man, all these.
See, y'all are a lot older than me, so I gotta think the names I want to say. Y'all probably gonna look at me like this is crazy.
No, I mean, we would love to hear them though, because we might agree.
Think about the moments I see,
agree, bro.
Like when I think about so when I first started watching football, of course I'm 25, so I know a lot about sports. But like Matt, how you actually played football? Like I'm just catching on now with like. Well, not now, but a couple years ago, a separation and really running routes and stuff like that. So at first, I was just going off seeing catches and stuff like that. So I think like Santana Moss, like those are guys like I was coming up seeing, but they still play for great teams. Like Santana Moss, T.Y. Hilton, Roddy White, who else? Deshaun in his prime, Crabtree. Like those are just like certain guys. Marvin Jones, like just certain guys I've kind of seen. Like they weren't great.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like. So y'all expectation of all time is like a different type of is different. Like y'all naming guys, I'm like, damn, I never like Anquan Bolden.
If you want to look up, I'm gonna tell you this now, Boog. If you're gonna look up Anquan Bolden, right, you got to start at Florida State.
I see. Yeah,
you got to start at Florida State. It did make his way in when he won, Offensive Rookie of the Year. It was even in conversation for MVP in his rookie year for a wide receiver position. That's how good he was when he came out of Florida State. That's how good he was. I'm telling you, if you're going to watch Anquan Bolden, start at Florida State first.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what he did with the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
they were a 1-2 punch combo. They got to the Super Bowl.
Who was their quarterback when they were playing for them? Who was their
quarterback was? Think about it. Hold on. He just had a movie come out about his life not that long ago. White guy.
I feel like I know whose name.
He used to play for the Rams.
I feel like I know.
If we say the okay, so it's a company named after his last name. It's something
he went
Brothers.
From bagging groceries to the CFL to the NFL.
Yeah, I'm lost. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Kurt
Right now.
Warner, bro. Kurt Warner.
Kurt. Oh, Kurt.
I was scared.
I did. I wanted to say. I knew it was something with a W. I was like, well, who is it? Kurt Warner. Kurt, man.
He look again. Another underrated guy. Like you're talking about a guy. Like, could you imagine what he would have been if he would have came into the league in 1992?
Wow, he had Anquan and Larry. That is crazy.
And mind you, I just looked up the numbers for Anquan Bolden back in 03. 101 receptions en route to winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. His NFL career got blistered, but his 157 receptions are the most through the first 26 games of a receiver ever. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what that noise is either.
That's you, bro. You probably have to fix your mic, bro.
Oh no, yeah, I'm good. I got it.
I thought it was me. But Anquan Bolden, man, those numbers, man, those numbers. Listen, that's crazy. But what's going on, Robert Nunez? What's going on, Anthony Estrada? Thank y'all for coming in so goddamn late. I understand y'all be working this stuff, and I get it, and I get it. I don't know what that audio was, but yeah, Anquan Bolden, bro, I'm telling you.
Oh yeah,
you just got to do your research on him, man. But we have a few people that said some names. They said Brandon Marshall. They said Vincent Jackson. They said Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson was a guy that was hard to cover. That's one thing I can say. Andre Johnson was one of those guys. I don't know about Vincent Jackson. But,
no, so I'll say this: Vincent Jackson, young, and
yeah, the young Vincent Jackson. Agreed.
Andre Johnson played a similar ball. Andre Johnson, his footwork was good, but he played a lot of bully ball because how big he was able to use his physicality to be open. And that's what I think the big difference maker was when it came to a lot of those guys, especially with the size. They didn't always necessarily have the speed behind it. They had the footwork and the mentality behind it. That's why I was like, I've said this before. Imagine if Calvin Johnson Jr. would have had the same mentality as Anquan Bolden.
Absolutely.
Woo!
Absolutely. But
hands down would have been the greatest receiver to ever lace him up.
But I couldn't get to the last topic. We got through almost every damn topic but the last one. I know the last one's going to be long, and I know it's past 2. People got to get back and do what they got to do. But any final words before we head out of here today?
Man, tomorrow night draft, man, is going down. We're going to see what's going on.
Oh, I'm pumped for the draft. How we doing the draft? We calling it live the first round?
I'm trying to. I got booked for a gig. I'm trying to see if I can get the time pushed back. If I can't, then I might just give y'all the access and let y'all do it without me.
I'm still willing to do it, and also too to the show. I'm trying to work on get us either. I guess me and Matt get a NFC. NFC show or something like that. Cause
y'all want to say I can get what thing I can do. I can get other YouTubers to come on that cover their teams, and we can do a division breakdown. We can do that.
Yeah, your boy reached out too.
Who? Oh, my boy Trey. Shout out to Wise Guys, man. Shout out to Wise Guys, bro. My boy Trey Larkins. Shout out to him, man. He's a Packers fan, so I would love to have him on the show.
Who's the guy we had on the last time?
No Mercy Sports.
No Mercy Sports.
Shout out to No Mercy Sports. He's a Giants fan, so shout out to him too, man. He's going to be back on the show, but he's going on vacation soon.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, man, I'm down to be on any show. Anybody want me to come on the show? Hey, look, I got you.
Y'all heard it here first. Listen, if y'all want to be a guest on Nothing But Raiders podcast, you just gotta let me know that I could get that happen.
Yeah, I was tuned into y'all last night, man. Y'all had a lot going on yesterday. Raiders had a lot going on.
Oh my God. Listen.
I've definitely peaked a few times. But I don't know how y'all feel with having a Ravens fan up in the house.
Listen, we could debate a goddamn sports when it comes to us Raiders fans, man. Yeah, we could debate it. I'm always looking to have different perspectives from different teams about our Raiders team. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, shit, I'm always down. I'm one message away.
Say no more, y'all. But thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Darion Hopkins Sports Show. Thank you to SeatGeek. Make sure you get your $20 off your first purchase using that promo code DHopkins. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, iHeartRadio. The audio podcast will be. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to the channels. Follow them on Facebook. I tag them all the time and a bunch of crap, especially with the James Harden stuff. I can't wait to upload that segment. I just cannot wait to upload that segment. I didn't even do the whole stuff. I had to break it down because it was like 30 minutes. So I had to make like a 3-part series of it. Like, yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. So I had to make like a 3-part series of it. But we out of here, y'all. We see y'all same time, same place tomorrow. And we out of here, y'all. Peace out.